Hey everyone, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. And real quick before we get started, I just wanted to let everyone know that has sent me cases or is sending me cases. I just want to let everyone know that I work on them in order, plus the cases that I'm currently working on. So if you don't see your case right away, don't be offended. I am working on it. In the case that I do see a case that just came up, like the one I just posted about the missing family, I will do that just because it's so recent. But I have several cases that I'm working on that some people have suggested to me, and I should be getting those out within the next couple of days with it, and as well as cases that I've been working on myself. So today's case takes us up to the Great Lakes, more specifically Lake Huron. And for those of you that have never been to any of the Great Lakes, they are very impressive when you see them. It's almost like you're looking out at the ocean. They're just so vast and so beautiful, and they have beaches as well. So it really is quite a scene if you ever get a chance to go up and see them. Now today's case takes us all the way back to 1969. 1969 was a year full of all kinds of news. We landed a man on the moon. The Mets had a winning baseball team. The famous Woodstock concert happened, and Agatha Christie released her novel Halloween Party. And this case takes place in Oscoda, Michigan, which is up on the northeastern end of Michigan on Lake Huron. And it's just a small little town. I'm going to show you some maps here, but it's the county of Oscoda is right on the water. This case takes place back on Halloween, so October 31st of 1969. And unfortunately, this case still remains unsolved over 50 years later. So today we are going to be talking about the disappearance of Patricia Ann Spencer. She went by Patty. And Pamela Sue Hobley, she went by Pam, so in the case of this video we'll call them Patty and Pam. Patty Spencer was 5'3" to 5'4". At the time she weighed roughly 120 to 145 pounds. She's got blue eyes. Her hair was brownish blonde. She wore glasses, although she did not have them apparently on that Halloween. When she was last seen, she was wearing a brown pullover with a matching skirt and a pair of high heels, and a jacket with a gray and green plaid design, with a necklace decorated with a peace sign. She had also at least one scar, I guess due to a dog attack, on one of her legs. This is an age-progressed photo of what she would look like today, and she would be in her 60s. Pam Hobley had brown hair at the time. She has brown eyes. She was roughly 5 feet 6 inches tall. She weighed about 110 to 115 pounds. She had two scars, one near her nose and the other by her mouth. Some say that it might have been a birthmark. Anyway, she wore an imitation full coat edged with brown, a plaid skirt, a shirt of unspecified color, high-heeled shoes, white socks. It's thought that Patricia was maybe into doing some drugs here and there, or some activities that her family knew that were bad. It's unknown whether Pamela was also involved in these. Although it's been so many years, you know how that goes. The game of telephone, things kind of get messed up throughout the years. However, it is apparently known that Pam Hobley had just accepted a marriage proposal just prior to her disappearance. The two girls were not known to be friends. They were both attending Oscoda High School, and they didn't run in the same crowds. They really had nothing in common except for the fact that they both disappeared that day. Pam Hobley had told her mother and three sisters that she had planned to return home after attending her high school's homecoming football game, after which she planned to attend a Halloween party. Well, apparently when her family had gotten home that evening from trick-or-treating, they found her not to be there. She was gone. Her fiance then informed her mother that she had not even shown up to the party. So it was at that point that Pam Hobley's mother called other parents and learned that Patricia Spencer never arrived at the party either. Now, it is known that both girls were reported to be truant that day at high school. They blew off their last few classes apparently. Now, right after Pam's mother reported this to the police, the police requested information from the community for assistance in discovering their whereabouts. So for the first week of the investigation, it was suspected that they were runaways, and for some reason they had it in their minds that there was an intent to travel to Flint, Michigan. However, Pam's sister, Mary, she expressed that her doubts that that was possibly the case. It really didn't make any sense. Both girls were reportedly very close to their families, and they didn't bring their purses, identifications, or extra clothing, anything really, when they left. So it didn't appear that it was a voluntary disappearance. And they were both looking forward to the Halloween party that they didn't show up to. In the beginning, witnesses stated that they saw the girls last walking together away from Oscoda High School. However, then later on, a witness stated that he had picked them up when they were walking along River Road. Now I'm going to have a map so you can see where this is in relation to the high school. It's maybe like 5-10 minutes away. And he said that he dropped them off in downtown Oscoda, which would have been roughly a 6-minute car ride from where he said that he picked them up. Police later disclosed that they had some information to indicate that the girls were definitely downtown that day. They didn't disclose what information that was. They just said that they highly suspected or knew that they were. They also said that they suspected that the girls were hitchhiking, and they theorized that they possibly were abducted by 2 or more assailants and eventually taken away, possibly murdered, or abducted and just taken off somewhere. A lot of these theories have been explored throughout the years, but unfortunately none of them have had any real leads that they've found. But it's interesting that they said 2 or more. I mean, they seem to have some information that they obviously are holding back, and that's usual, because they don't want to give away too much that could ruin the investigation. However, it's 50 years later and the case still remains unsolved. There have been various leads throughout the years. In 1985, police were brought a lead that apparently the teens were murdered by 2 area men and then buried near a barn. The barn that they were speaking about was apparently known for, local teenage parties. However, the area was searched heavily with cadaver dogs, police all over the place. No evidence of human remains were found, and, there was just nothing found in that area. It turned out to be, not a good lead. The case has remained an active investigation, but unfortunately over the years, things get muddled. I mean, the man who is now deceased that claimed to have transported them on the day they disappeared, that lead is no longer considered credible because a different individual later told police that he had given the girls a ride to a gas station, which is not that far from where they were last seen. So that is considered to be the last credible sighting. That guy, he claimed that he had been questioned in the past about the issue, yet this was allegedly never recorded for the future investigation, and is now believed to be the last time the subjects were actually seen, but there's no recorded evidence. But that's what the police are going on. That was the last recorded credible sighting. Both women have been entered into numerous national databases, such as NamUs, the Doe Network, anything that can help gain awareness. I know that both subjects' DNA profiles were obtained and were used to compare against unidentified decedents who were found, but neither of the girls ever turned up a match, and none of their fingerprints are on file either. Spencer's dental records are unavailable, but Pamela's, I believe, are available. So it's just, throughout the years, some things are available, some things aren't. I know that a new detective was assigned the case in 2010, and he proceeded to interview all the witnesses again, the ones that were alive, and in hopes to uncover any new information. In 2013, the police released a statement indicating that they did have a person of interest, but they still needed further information. And I'm sure it's been very frustrating for the investigators over the years, chasing down, false leads, and unfortunately, the women still haven't been found. So that always causes a problem, even when they do have a person of interest. But nowadays, with modern technology and things like Parabon nanolabs, hopefully their families will be able to get some closure. I know that in reading the statements, the family members that are still alive, they do go back to Michigan. Some of them live still somewhat, a couple 100 miles away. Some of them have passed, but the ones that are alive stay in touch with investigators. But, I'm sure that every time Halloween comes around, it's painful because they just don't know. They have no answers, over 50 years later. And that's just, awful for anybody. This case is considered an open investigation, and the police believe that the girls are deceased, but they do not have the killers identified or the bodies. They do have a person of interest. The police are asking that if you do have proof of knowing these girls, if you have a proof of relationship and have actual information, to please contact the Oscoda Township Police Department at 989-362-1430. If you happen to live there at the time, or if you saw or heard anything at the time since, it's been so long that unfortunately they do get a lot of prank calls and junk. That's why they're, kind of specifying what they're looking for. My thoughts and prayers go out to Patricia Spencer and Pamela Hobley, and to their families, and to all the investigators that are working and have worked on this case, and just hoping that they can be brought home soon, one way or another, and that their families can finally get closure. I want to thank everybody for watching, as always, and please be respectful in the comments if you choose to leave them. Thank you to thank you to co.ag for providing the background music, and I will see everyone in the next one. Take care. As always, guys, thanks for sticking with me to the end. I hope everyone's having a good fall season so far, and like I said in the beginning, if you have sent me any cases, I am working diligently every day to get these cases posted. But yeah, I do have 3 or 4 that I am working on simultaneously, so just be patient with me and I will get those up soon. I did get some of the merch stuff done that I created, and hopefully I'll get those proofs in soon, which I'll show you. It's just some unique things, not t-shirts or anything like that, but I'll show it to you guys, see what you think, and you can let me know what